Hi, it's me on my bed. I just wanted to make a quick disclaimer before the video gets started. Um, yes, this is a remake of an older video that I made about a year ago. I am remaking it. And yes, there's a lot of the same jokes and information told. And the main idea behind that is I wasn't really proud of the older video because I like the concept and I like the writing, but I just didn't go all the way myself. So I'm remaking the video to really bring out the idea that I had in mind in the first place. This is releasing close to the holidays. It's not my Christmas video. I did want to get one out for Christmas, but in reality, I just want to enjoy my holiday break, just relax a little bit, because I've been putting a lot of pressure on myself to get this one done. So probably no Christmas video this year again. I know it sucks, but what can you do? Anyway, that's all I really wanted to say. I'll probably try to get another video out next month if all goes as planned. Happy holidays. If you don't celebrate Christmas, then have a good rest of the month. Here you go. Oh, hey there, ladies, gents, and etc. If you beg nicely, I'll even call you an idiot. It's me, Harlow, or Vix, or whatever the hell you want to call me at this point. Please ask what I'm doing. What am I doing? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm just catching up on reading. Reading books and stuff. Books are a great way where authors can put whatever they want to put in them. You can even put food in them. Pictures, not the real stuff. They have all kinds of neat stories that authors write in them. And now doorknobs like me can look at them. Reading makes you smart. It's too bad I'm not smart enough to read. It's not a favorite pastime, of course. Obviously, I partake more in the video game variety of stuff. I'm not sure if that was clear. I really should read more. It seems like it could do me some good. They do say that reading is as addictive as Netflix. I don't like Netflix. I have nothing against books. I just wish I could read them in a car on a DS poorly. But until that happens, I'm just stuck sitting here. Well, it's been a while, so I guess I should see if my prayers have been answered. Luckily, I do have a few connections, and I know exactly who to call about answered prayers.
Hey y'all, y'all do.
Hey God, all here. Very on the nose reference. What's up?
Oh hey, it's you, Harlow, Vix, or whatever you want me to call you these days.
Please call me an idiot.
Right. Anyway, what was it you needed?
Yes, I was wondering if you had any new answers for me. Old prayer about 5-ish years ago, 15 or so words long.
Well, I've got that prayer for years. There's been an answer for it ever since '08.
Okay.
Wait!
So it turns out there's been an answer to my prayer for 20 years. That's 2 decades of reading with motion sickness I missed out on, and the worst part is it's been on my shelf this entire time.
That answer is 100 classic books. Stop me if you've heard that one before. This game, if you can call it that, was released in December of 2008 in Europe, but it only came to North America 2 years later in June of 2010. They're similar, however, there are a small handful of books that are present in the European version which aren't in the American version, and vice versa. In Europe, the game was released under the title 100 Classic Book Collection. Come on, these are basically 2 entirely different games. This title was developed by a development studio called Genius Sonority. I didn't know that was a studio. Yeah, this is a company that I haven't really paid much attention to, but apparently they're also responsible for a Dragon Quest spin-off and several Pokemon spin-offs. Who'da thunk? 100 Classic Books was released both in Europe and Australia and in North America under the Touch Generations label. Oh god, they're back. Touch Generations, developer of What, Why, and Personal Trainer Cooking. I've talked about the Personal Trainer game somewhat extensively in the past, but I realized that I never really talked too much about what the namesake entails. So Touch Generations isn't really a developer or producer or anything, it's actually something done by Nintendo themselves, a label for certain types of games that are intended for much more casual audiences. Not these audiences, these audiences. A large portion of it was self-help software like the Personal Trainer games and things like Big Brain Academy. Some of them are more game-like Elite Beat Agents and Rhythm Heaven. One of them was 100 Classic Books. Some people call this thing unnecessary, I call it the other white meat of Personal Trainer games. I've called this thing Personal Trainer Reading more times than I care to admit. Essentially, 100 Classic Books is an ebook collection for the DS. It's completely unrated by the ESRB and PEGI, which means that this game is racier than both Silly Band's DS and Word Up. Tell it to Macbeth and see what kind of response you get. Old public domain classics, that's the kind of offerings this game has.
You know, I used to be a big reader back in my golden days of 3rd grade. Those truly are the days where I peaked. I really do need to learn to read. I think it'll bump me up to the upper middle class. It's a good thing to know, and I like knowing good things. This video really is just an excuse to work on improving that, and I hope to God that it does, because if a video game can't get me to read for pleasure, I don't know what can.
This is my copy. It cost me $30 and did not come with the normal case as advertised. Curses. Anyhow, when you open the game, you are promptly greeted by poultry. Owl!
It's what's for dinner.
I don't know what his purpose is, but he's a bird. This led to deception when I tried reading in real life.
Where's the bird?
Alright, so once you start up the game, you're presented with 4 options. You can start reading, look at the book guide, use DS Wireless, or you can settings. Starting with the first option, start reading. Here you can do exactly that. This is a list of all 100 books. I can't wait to 100% this game. It's kind of annoying that the books are displayed on their side like this in the game. I know it's supposed to be like books on a shelf, but come on man, I'm already holding my DS sideways. To be able to read these titles properly, I have to hold it upside down. This is just kind of awkward. The reading works exactly how you'd want it to, I suppose. The screens are a bit small for this, and even on the smaller text option, you have a lot of words that are just cut off. Not a deal breaker, but it's definitely noticeable. You can mark your page with a bookmark, which is really nice. Unfortunately, you can only keep your page for 1 book at a time. If you start a new book, you lose your place in the last one you were reading.
Hi, I just wanted to say something. I was playing the game for footage right here, and that was a blatant lie. You can have up to 3 bookmarks per book. I looked at the temporary bookmarks that the game gives you. If you like quit without saving, it'll temporarily save your place for 1 book at a time. And I was like, oh, it just uses 1 bookmark at a time. So that was a blatant lie, and I'm sorry. Bye.
Again, it's kind of annoying, but strangely enough, I wasn't planning on reading that much anyway. As I stated earlier, these are old books that are in the public domain. It's a little lame that Nintendo didn't shell out the money to license more modern classics. But hey, these books are called classics for a reason. Say what you want about them, but they're well-written stories. You can read about the authors here too, which is really nice. A pretty unnecessary addition, all things considered. I'm sure most people just brushed over it, but I'm glad it's here. I really find this kind of thing interesting.
Nerd!
Right. Anyways, up next is the book guide. Take a little quiz and it'll match you with a book, like Tinder. Take the quiz, but my answers, and it looks like we're reading Othello. Okay, this book never actually could find me anything I like Tinder. You can also check the ranking. Never mind, it was a stupid feature anyway. The DS Wireless feature is cool. You can share a demo of the game with a friend. Now, I don't have a friend, but I do have multiple DS's, so you know what that means. It's time for a twosome. Riveting. Right, so I connected, I got a free demo including Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Name a better book to get as a free demo. See, you can't. And lastly, the settings. Weirdly, this is quite possibly the most in-depth option of the game. There's a lot you can mess with to really make it the best experience for you. You can add background music along with a variety of white noise type sounds. I picked the forest one, again, deception.
Where am I?
These are quite nice though. I personally tend to get really uncomfortable in dead silence, so these are very nice to have as an option. I could genuinely fall asleep to most of these. You can change a variety of other settings as well. Font size, page number display, these are as self-explanatory as they get. You can change the theme of the menu, which is nice. Button settings are an option. You can choose to use the L and R buttons rather than the D-pad to turn the page while reading, if that's the lifestyle you really want to lead. Lastly, we can change the DS orientation.
Come on, man, it's 2023. The DS can like whatever it wants to like. Love is love. I shouldn't interfere with that.
So, that's 100 classic books. It's nothing insane, obviously. It's just a collection of books, but for what it is, it's quite well made. The only issues with it really are just issues that come with being on a DS. As weird as this little title is, I find its existence to be very charming. It's very cute, and I've actually found myself getting drawn into stories like the Odyssey from time to time. It's a genuinely neat way to enjoy these old books, and while its existence will always invoke more questions than answers, it's a title that I'm proud to own.
Okay, I've been staring at the first page of Little Fauntleroy for like 3 hours now. This is getting ridiculous. If a DS game about reading can't get me to read, and making a video about me talking about me playing a DS game about reading can't get me to read, then there's only one thing I can really do. I have to read a real book. I know, it's disgusting. I haven't intentionally touched a book by my own volition for like 5 years at this point. Printer ink gives me eczema. But what can I do? I'm 21 as of the year of our Lord 2028. And it turns out you can't really apply to colleges if you can't read. It's gonna be tough, but without this I can't get into my one and only Squidward Community College. But not to fear, you see I've instated an emergency button here on my desk, in case I die again. Cinnamon is a hell of a killer, but nothing hurts more than words on a page. Alright, I've got my book, I've got my button. Here we